Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Wolfinia. This is episode 278 of my Minecraft survival series, and over the course of the past several episodes, we spent a lot of time building up this structure right here, the Crown of Wolfinia, that wraps around the Waterside District. Love that name, the Crown of Wolfinia. One of you guys in the comments called it that, and that is the perfect name for it. I think I threw a rocket down into the water here, but you know what? I'm not gonna look for it. That's fine. Dolphins can play with it. Anyway, on top of spending these past few episodes building up the Crown of Wolfinia, we have also spent a lot of time out here in the land surrounding Wolfinia, getting rid of the land surrounding Wolfinia in our quest to make Wolfinia into an island. Now, recently I've kind of adopted a little bit of a new strategy with this. Rather than carving out flat surfaces, I'm trying to kind of transition into a rough terraform of what the land will ultimately look like, rather than this nonsense right here. So over here is a good example. You can see we have straight drop-offs all along each of these islands here. It just drops off straight into the water because I was planning on building these out, building out the underwater areas, and kind of working out that transition on my own. But, you know, if we would have just carved down, I could have probably saved myself a lot of trouble in the future. Now today we're going to continue carving out land. We've done a lot of work over on this side of Wolfinia lately, but we still have this whole side of Wolfinia over here that we started carving out a long time ago that I kind of forgot about. This area over here, the water's already deepened, but starting at about right here, we no longer have... I'm going to crash. Ow! All right, basically what I was getting to was that we're going to spend some time at the start of this episode deepening the waters on this side of Wolfinia. Now, I am going to try to transition from each of these pieces of land kind of gradually into the depths. That way we have a easier job when it comes to terraforming and landscaping in the future. Now, I do need to go ahead and redraw some of my gravel lines. That way I don't dig too much unnecessarily because, I don't know, I just have a real bad habit of making a lot of additional work for myself. Anyway, those of you who have been keeping up with the series, you know what we're about to get into. Those of you who haven't, I don't know, I'm just going to be doing a bunch of digging, so it might not be too interesting. But in either case, we're going to go ahead and get to it. Let's go ahead and call the drone on over here, put on a little bit of music, and get to work. Welcome back, everybody. Look at this. We made progress here. We got some land cleared out. We didn't get this chunk right here. A little bit left to go, but you know what? This is a good start, and I'm happy with it. Now, as far as our incidental resources go, we got a decent amount of iron and coal. These are just the resources we get naturally doing this. We got 1 copper ingot from a drowned, plus this stuff right here. Now, we did go through some tools doing this. I do still have some picks left over, which is good because I do intend to do a little bit more digging before this episode is out. But if you'll excuse me, right now I have to go get all this nonsense put away. We have a bunch of rocks that need to go into storage. We got a castaway who seems to be in a dangerous situation. I think he's a fisherman from Wharf. I don't know how he got over here, but we're going to try to help him out. Real quick. Ridiculous. Now I got bad omen because of you. I hope you're happy. All right. Let me get a cow and we'll get you somewhere safe. Sea cow. See a cow. It's a sea cow. This is ridiculous. Woo! All right. We got the villager safely back up to Wharf. Yeah, don't run off again. We won't have these kind of issues. Let's return to the crown of Wolfinia, or at least the waters beneath the crown of Wolfinia, because I did mention I wanted to do a little bit more digging, and down here is where I want to do it, because we do have this flat, uninteresting floor that we do need to blend in a little bit better with the surrounding areas. Now, we are going to do more than dig today, I promise. I want to kind of dress up these areas so that way you can get an idea of what the underwater areas are going to look like in and around Wolfinia. But for right now, the digging has to be done. So at this point, let's once more call the drone on out here, put on a little bit of music, and get to work. Welcome back, everybody. At this point, we do have this area kind of dug out. We got it nice and smoothed out or roughed out, depending on how you want to look at it. In addition to all the digging we did here, we did smooth out the transitions leading into these little bits of land along either side of the waterside district. And we are going to kind of dress these up today, I think. Because while I have a good idea of what I want to do beneath the waters here, I haven't really demonstrated that to you guys. Now, we are not going past this point right here because obviously there's a lot of transitions that need to be smoothed out. Everything is blocky, ugly on this side. Don't even worry about it. We're not doing any more digging today. Today, or at least for the rest of the episode, we are going to focus on landscaping and seascaping because a long, long time ago, you might remember, we did this little bit right here, this little sample section. Well, I want to carry this throughout all the rest of the shores of the Waterside District. So let me go ahead and get my stuff together, and then we'll get to it. You know what? Something I just realized slipped my mind is I never showed you guys the incidental resources we got from clearing out this little section over here. So let me go ahead and do that real quick, because it's tradition. We got a little bit of coal, a little bit of iron, and some other odds and ends. All right, we are ready to finally start placing blocks. Now, let me go explain what I want to do. Basically, around the shores of Wolfinia, I want to transition into a more rocky surface. So I want to get rid of all this dirt, all this sand and other nonsense, and just kind of go over it with various bits of stone, with cobblestone, with our mossy stone bricks and our mossy cobblestone. And I'm just going to work on this little sample area right here just to give you guys a good idea of what I want this to look like before we really get into the time lapse, because, well, it wouldn't make sense without context. I don't know, maybe it would. But we're doing this anyway. Now, I mean, this can't really be limited to just putting a coat over this whole thing. We are going to have to build out some areas to kind of make a smoother transition down into, like, the floor and stuff here. You can see it's starting to come along. But we're not going to leave it at just the rocks, because I do need a little bit more detail than that. We are going to add a little bit of underwater foliage down here. Then we can go ahead and start sprinkling some slabs and some stairs over top of our blocks, just to give us a little bit more variation in size and shape. So, I mean, you can see now the walls are starting to come along, but we do still need to think about the floor and how we're going to transition into the actual sea floor there, because that is not going to be a bunch of rocks. Instead, I want to use mud. Now, you might remember a little while ago we made a mud farm. There was actually a reason for that. And that's because we're going to need a lot of mud. Now, I think the entirety of our sea floor is basically going to consist of a meter-thick layer of straight-up mud. We're going to goop some on top here just to kind of ease the transition into our wall and just make it look like the mud's built up over everything. But I think that could possibly work. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and build some of this out, and then we'll come back and, you know, we'll see how it looks. You know, we're also going to goop up a little ridge here around the body of the netherworm just to kind of make it look like it's really in there, like it's down into the mud. I think that could be kind of cool as well. Then as a final measure, we'll go ahead and sprinkle around some bone meal, get some seagrass going in here, get a little bit more color, a little bit more variation, and just try and make it look all messy and nice. Threw a little bit of kelp in here too so we can get some variation in our foliage, but I kind of like it. So we're going to take this and we are going to carry this all the way around the Waterside District, throughout all the shores and stuff like that. I guess I could have carried the sample section to the wall here. That probably would have made sense, but I didn't do that. Anyway, you get the idea. You know what we're about to get into, and we are going to get into it now because I need to get started on it if I want to finish. I'll probably dig this out a little bit. We'll make some variation in the seafloor as well as we go along. Anyway, let's go ahead and at this point call the drone on over here, put on a little bit of music, and get to work. Welcome back, everybody. We have snow for some reason. Let's go ahead and make our way away from the snow and actually look at what we did during the time lapse right here. You can see I did decide to add some lighting down here, to emphasize the body of the netherworm as it makes its way through the New Moon Bay. Now, I do like the addition of the lighting, but I think, I don't know, maybe I did too much of it because you can see like the whole sea floor there, and it might be a good idea to knock out some of the sea pickles, just add some depth, some shadow in there. That's something I'll consider. I do like the lighting, so I don't know, I'm undecided on that as of yet. But we did take our seascaping all the way to over here, just beneath the archway, basically completing all of the underwater landscaping and terraforming of the waterside district. And I gotta say, looking at it from underwater, I am very happy with it. I think it is very cool. Everything is looking awesome here. A lot of the kelp still needs to kind of grow in a little bit more, but that's okay. There, dolphin. Listen, I don't need your help right now. Thank you. I'm fine. But yeah, I am liking it a lot because this not only, you know, it looks more complete, right? It also looks a lot more detailed. And because of that, it's a lot more fun to travel through, which is like the main thing. Just, you know, having some, I don't know, just having more interesting areas to travel through is something I really enjoy. Now we haven't made it this far. I might as well take you around the rest of the waterside district because we only have a little bit further to travel, but I do think that is probably all the time I have for this episode. My goodness, Dolphin, calm your blowhole, stop it! I'm fine. And this is fine. Everything's good here. I'll give you guys a little daytime view of it before we wrap things up here. Yeah. All right, I think that's going to be it for us today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please be sure to hit that little thumbs up button. That would mean a whole lot to me. And if you want to see more of Wolfinia, please remember to subscribe. But as always, I just want to thank you. Ow! My face. I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. Deeply appreciate it. And until next time, I hope you enjoyed your stay in Wolfinia. I will see you guys later. Bye.